Okay, now let's talk about drying racks. This is very simple here. This is basically the crate that my all-metal 20 by 100 high tunnel came into. Now, I did change it up a little bit. I used the majority of the crate, and I went and got 3 or 4 2x4s, and I used them to add on a couple things. But basically, I repurposed the crate that my high tunnel came into to make a drying rack. Now, it does have hardware cloth like you see here, like generally most of them do. So that way the airflow can go through and the water can drain through on my concrete floor here so I can squeegee it into my drains. I've got 2 simple box fans here. I only use 2 because if I use 3 like most people, I actually have this little area over here where I keep my scale on a shelf, and I keep my my hand sanitizer, and I also keep my vinyl gloves here. So that way it's easy for me to go from drying to packing the bags, and then I take it over to that table over there where we actually do our labeling. So I chose just to use 2 fans only, and that works great for me. At the level that I am in my market career, this works really, really good for me. And plus, that way I concentrate on 2 areas only, and that'll be my second line of defense where I actually will look for more bugs or wood chips. If there is any at this point, usually there's not, but if there is, this is the time that I will see them and I will pull them out and throw them into the column. But I do have these synced up to a power strip here on the wall. And as you can see, it's just basically simple box store fans, very cheap. I think you can get these for under $25 a piece. They work great. I just got them sitting on top of a generic style shelf. You can get, I've seen people go simple as just hanging them with a piece of rope. And then I've also seen people go out of their way to make some type of bracketry system just to hang a couple simple fans. It is what it is. It's all on what you want to do. Couple 2x4s screwed to my shelf here worked great to set these fans on. And if I need to replace them, I don't need to cut anything apart. All I do is just take them off and put another fan back on. But that works great for me. And now over on this section here, I just have a shelf with a cutting board shelf here, and I've got my scale sitting on top of it, and I just kind of keep my stuff right. I've also got, you can see I've got a magnetic strip on the back side, and I keep my knives over there. So when I do need to grab a knife, I can grab my totes, I can grab a knife, and I can go out the door. Now you may ask me about my totes sitting here on my drying rack. These totes are all completely washed and sanitized inside with the sanitizer solution, and then they just air dry here. So these totes are always my clean totes. These are not the totes that I take and I put into my cooler. These are the totes that I use for harvest only. So after I'm done using them, I will wash them in my sink, and then I will wash them with dish soap, and then I will sanitize them with a little bit of bleach water, and then I set them up here to dry for the next time. So everything's ready to go, and I've got them turned upside down, of course, so that way nothing can sit, no dust or anything can sit inside of this. And you may ask what I use to spin my greens, so let me show you. Okay, it's very simple here. If you watch my other channel, it's just Kansas Garden Guy on YouTube. You have probably already seen my simple DIY salad spinner for under $25. We won't get into that here, but if you go to my channel and you watch that video, it'll show you exactly how to make one of these for under $25, or it may be cheaper if you've already got the buckets. But anyway, all this is 2 5-gallon buckets. One of them's got an 8-inch bolt in the bottom of it, and I'll got a bolt in the bottom of it. It's got a gamma lid. You can look these up on Amazon. Basically, these lids have a seal that go in here. I have the seal taken out for easy removal. But what this is for is to convert a 5-gallon bucket over to a moisture-proof, insect-proof, rodent-proof bucket to store beans, rice. A lot of preppers use these gamma lids. Under $10 on Amazon. And then I've got another 5-gallon bucket with a bunch of holes drilled into it like a strainer. I've got a short video here. You can see me using this. Basically what this is 2 5-gallon buckets sitting on that bolt, and it spins together. The gamma lid goes on top of this. I'm just going to set this off to the side. And I've got a electric drill that hooks to the top, and that basically is what spins it. Yes, it is very simple. It's very effective. Is it cumbersome sometime? Of course it is, because I'm basically bending over. Could I build a shelf to put it on? Yes. Do I need to? No. This is basically a $25 DIY system here. You can buy the ones that hand crank. Those are awesome. They're well over $125 to $300 on some of them. Once again, I wasn't willing to spend that much money on something I could make for 25 bucks. And for me as a one-man show here, this works out great. You may say, hey, use a cordless drill. That would be awesome. Cordless drills are awesome. I went out and bought a whole nother set of cordless drills just to use in this wash pack station. What I did find out, it does not work for my situation here. The reason why is when you use a cordless drill and you pull the trigger and you let go of it, that chuck stops automatically. Now, when you use that on that, what it was doing was it was locking up the chuck because it was so abrupt when you let go of the trigger that it would physically, with the weight of the lettuce in there, would lock the chuck up and it would strip it. And I could hear it stripping it. No, it wasn't on a torque setting or anything like that. And I did not want to ruin that $300 drill that I bought. So what I did was I went out and spent under $40 for an electric drill. Now listen to this. You pull the trigger, let go. See how it slowly winds down? It works great for spinning this bucket. And like I said, you saw that video earlier that showed me using that. It works great for this. Under $40, $25, so we're looking at $60, $70. And I have a DIY salad spinner that I could use forever. All right, basically here I just have a standard table here. And in the future, I would love to have this completely out with stainless steel tables, and that is coming. As of right now, this is what I use to just pack my my bags, basically. They're packed over there in bags. I bring the bags over here. It's got a standard tape machine, which you've seen a lot of market gardeners use. Works out great. Rubber bands. Got different systems of bags here. I happen to use U-line for my bags. Sticker-wise, basically it's just simple stuff here. I happen to use a 4x6 shipping label printer, and I do my own stickers. I'll just kind of bring you in here, just kind of show you a generic of our stickers here. As you can see, it's got our farm logo, our physical address and phone number, what it is, how many ounces, and basically I have my Instagram and Facebook and YouTube channel on there. This is what it takes for us in Kansas to actually grow greens or bag any kind of produce at all. We have to have our physical farm name. We have to have a physical address and phone number, so that way in case anything was to happen, we can be contacted. And we've got our logo, and it's got to say what the product is in the bag and how many ounces or weight it is. That is something that our state requires. Your state may or may not require that. I have seen some other YouTubers that don't have anything written on their bags. I've seen some other YouTubers that are not allowed to close their bags, where we use it with a tape machine. It just depends on your state. So we got stickers here, and I keep just my basic stuff. I keep my sales order books for my commercial customers and stuff here. On the other side of the room here, I have a standard washing machine, bathroom, laundry room, sink, whatever you want to call it here. It's very simple. That other drain is behind me in this corner here, so I do have this set up here as a simple hand washing sink. No, you do not want to use your greens washing sink as your seed starting water tray or your hand washing sink or anything like that. You want to keep those areas separated. So I keep the basics here. Dishwashing soap, a couple brushes to wash your hands with. And I also have set up on here is a hose. Got standard coolers here. These are the coolers I take to market. So we have ice packs that actually lay in the bottom of the cooler. We put a towel over the top of the ice pack because you don't want your bags of lettuce greens to actually physically touch your ice because they will turn to mush. So you always want to put a layer of something there. We just use a standard bath towel. I keep them in here. Standard old bath towel that we no longer use in the house anymore. They work great to separate your greens from the ice packs. I have a refrigerator right here. That refrigerator usually holds bottled water, pop, and we store all of our seeds in there. You always want to try to keep your seeds in the freezer or in the refrigerator. It keeps them very fresh that way. You don't want to store your seeds anywhere where it's warm or hot or in direct sunlight. You will kill the germination rate of that seed if you do that. Store them in the refrigerator there. We bought a new refrigerator for the house. The old one came outside. Boom, works great to put pop water and seeds in. This is what I store our greens in. Run-of-the-mill meat freezer. I said I use this to store our greens. You can see we have Salanova salad mix here bagged up in 1.5 pound bags here. I've got to break that down into our bags for our market today. But I thought I'd do this little video before I do that. What I've done is I've got an older freezer here. And you notice this little box right here. This is my $40 investment on Amazon. What this is this is a controller that the cooler or the freezer plugs into. I can run this down to 38 degrees. In the state of Kansas, they say that our greens should be stored in a cooler between 36 degrees and 40 degrees, if I believe so. It's at 40.1 right now because we had the door open. This does go down to about 38.5, 38.6. That is within the realm of the optimum temperature that the state of Kansas says we need to be storing our bagged greens at. So this controller here, is it a cool bot? No, it's not a cool bot. Like I said, this is only 40 degrees. All this does is it turns the freezer on to cool it down to that, and then it shuts the freezer off. I've had this system set up now for a year and have not had any issues. You may ask, well, if the freezer kicking on, freezer kicking off, on, off. Refrigerator does that all day long. So, and we have gone 10, 15 years on a refrigerator before. This refrigerator is actually 10 years old. I may not look it, but it is 10 years old, and it still works great. And that's opening the door with young children and everything else over the last years. So this freezer right here is actually almost 50 years old. And my parents got this freezer right before I was born. So I'm almost 50. This freezer is almost 50 years old, and it is still kicking. So like I said, I just converted it over to a cooler for us, and it works great for that. I would recommend that you guys try to use the stuff that you already have. Plus, you got to think outside the box. I don't know what made me think that a freezer would work great for a cooler, but it was something that I looked at. I tried to find some information. I couldn't find it, and then I happened to see this little controller that would allow me to drop the temperature down, and I just tried it. And if it didn't work, I was out $40. It works great. Now I have me a cooler for now. Am I going to outgrow this at some time? Probably so. But it works for me right now. And if there is any overage that I don't have room for, I can actually stack a couple of the small totes in the refrigerator just to get me by until I do get a walk-in cooler. Okay, hopefully that kind of shows you what I use the wash pack station and prep station here. Sometimes it doesn't really have to be fancy. Like I said, in the future, I would like to add a couple things in here that I need, and I probably will add those as time moves on. But anyway, guys, that's going to be the end of this week's video. Just simple and sweet, and I'll talk to you later. Oh, by the way, make sure you go out and grow something.